Hello and good morning. Just going to check that I am live in the right place and I'm in the right orientation because things have changed on Facebook. So bear with me for just 1 minute. I think I'm live anyway. It's just when I went online this morning on Facebook, everything had changed for some reason. So if you are joining, please do say hello. Nothing is happening on my page. I'm just refreshing. So I'm kind of feeling slightly anxious at this moment that I'm actually live in the right place. My phone is telling me that I'm live, so I'm guessing that I am. Everything, actually, yeah, things are loading. I'm just looking at my screen on my phone and the orientation is, it's normal, but some of the writing is the wrong way round. So I was just thinking, oh gosh, have I turned my phone the right way? So good morning for those of you joining. I can see there's a couple of you coming on just as I sit here blundering whether I am in the right orientation and you're not seeing me sideways. So good morning, morning Lucianne, how are you doing? The sun has actually come out now. It was raining when I went round the garden with Alfie this morning. Just before 7 it started spitting, so I dashed back into the house to grab a jacket with a hood on, and it didn't really come to much. And then as I got in the shower, we had a really heavy downpour, so which is good, but now it's stopped and the sun has come out, so it's quite fresh though. Good morning, Ellie. How are you? What are you guys up to today? Okay, so Lucianne, you're good. That's great to know. I need to get in touch with you about booking a date to get together, don't I? As a little group, a group get together. Have a bit of crafting over here in the studio. I think that would be fun, something to look forward to. Although life feels pretty hectic at the moment. You know when you have that long list of things to do and you tick things off that you've been stressing about, and then you look at the list and then there's something else that's like in the back of your mind you're thinking about. And for me at the moment, obviously, it's the arrival of my 4th grandchild, so he is due any time now. Sophie's 39 weeks tomorrow, and then also I have my retreat a week on Saturday, so I'm hoping that he doesn't arrive on that weekend because that could just make things a little tricky. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. He's going to come when he's ready, isn't he? So Soph said she was going out for a brisk walk this morning, just to sort of try and help him, move him on his way, see if he wants to make an exit. Yeah, I'm convinced it's going to be Thursday. I do not know why, but I've got this feeling that he's going to come Thursday afternoon. So we shall see. Ellie, I can't read what's on my screen because there's a blue pop-up here. I don't know why it's doing that, so try and read from my MacBook. My glasses aren't working the best at the moment. I have set myself a reminder today though to ring and make an eye appointment, so if I haven't made it by next week, you can all slap my wrists. Ellie, you've got card club prep for Friday, cars in for a service and an MOT. Jacob's offers year 6 residential next week. How exciting. I bet he is buzzing. I bet he is buzzing. Okay, enough talk. Let's flip you to the larger screen and get you set down on my desk. So let's make a bit of room. Bear with the palm of the hand while I turn you down. Shifty everything around a bit. Oh gosh, what happened then? Did it turn? Are you still looking at my ceiling? Why did it do that? Why did it do that? It's confusing me today. So your view is good. My view on my phone, the orientation is the wrong way. And that is very back to front. Very back to front. Okay, let's just move grid paper. That is very, very confusing because I work from my phone when I'm doing a live and the orientation is all back to front. But I'm going to have to run with it for now. Let's get a light on. I don't want to be flipping you up and down. You don't need to see the other end of my studio. It is not a pretty sight at the moment with retreat boxes and bags everywhere. Yeah, Ellie, I can see on my live that it looks like we're in the right orientation, but on my phone, it's round the other way, which is slightly confusing. But anyway, let's get this grid paper sorted and then get it taped down. Wait for that catch up and get started. So hopefully you can see, oh, I don't want to move it too far over. Hopefully you can see the stamps that I'm using. I did pop a little post. Gosh, I'm getting nowhere with this grid paper. Let's just stick it down and hope for the best. It's miles away from the edge of my desk now, so it's going to make it even more difficult when I'm trying to stamp those tricky things. We look a bit crook as well, but I'm not going to faff anymore. Lucy-Ann, what are you up to? You've got a brownie sleepover this Friday to Saturday. Oh my goodness. Well, that sounds like fun. It sounds like hard work as well, but fun. So I'm sure it will be good for you. So today I thought I would pull out something a little autumnal. Now that is really strange. You'll have to bear with me because I can't see what I'm doing. So as long as you can see, I'm just on one catch up. So Creation Cage, a colour that I very, very rarely use. I like it and it is a very autumnal colour. So I'm teaming it with Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. I've also pulled out, let's pop those down, the Lights Aglow paper. I have shown you this. It's generally a Christmas paper, but today I'm just going to use some of it, particularly this sheet, which is great for the everyday, to create my projects. But I just think, let's turn it over. Got some really good, so we've got Cherry Cobbler in here, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent. We've got gold accents on here as well, which you can see. So it's a beautiful pack of paper, very, very usable. What else am I using? Get back in my box. So I'm using just some greetings from the Sending Smiles and a little flower as well, because I wanted to use this Christmas season set, which I used so much last year. You'll find it in our annual catalogue. Sorry, Alfie, I gave you a little boot then. He's literally by my feet. It's my fault. I've pulled his bed really close this way because we had a lot of busyness happening in the studio on Saturday. So in our annual catalogue, we do have a selection of Christmas goodies, starting on page 42. I can't show you all of this because I've zoomed in. But Christmas season here is on page 44, and I just think this is such a great set. But what I love about it is the die set, the seasonal labels. You saw me use this a lot last year. These label frame dies are just so handy, and you've got these lovely like little kind of tag topper, they're not toppers, but they create a little ribbon slide or whatever. You're going to put some thread through there, and you've also got some long ones there for a wider ribbon to thread through. But you've also still got your kind of all Christmas holly leaves and berries and fir cones. Actually they're pine cones, aren't they? And I'll say that because Vivi did, as I told you, I think last week, she corrected me when I called them a fir cone. She said, actually, Nanny, they're a pine cone. But that's just what I call them. So a really good set, but it's another one of those that you're going to be pulling out throughout the year. So I'm also pulling in the dies that go with the Sending Smiles, because I'm using some of these and obviously the little flower one. But another great set. I think I used this last week, didn't I? Because I used those cute little flowers. So that's our dies of the day. Let's move these out of the way. Now I have also pulled in from our weekly deals. I have pulled in randomly some pastel pearls. These are, I've marked them in my catalogue. I've also pulled in the soft succulent, what's this actually called? Open weave ribbon, because I'm going to be using some of that. It is delicious. That comes in all of the older style in colours. The pearls are on weekly deal until, you need to get them today or tomorrow because it will change again. Oh, is this the end? Is this the last one? Or is there another one? I need to check on that. I've got a feeling there's another one on the 29th. Does it tell us on there? It's until the 28th. So what's the date? Yeah, it'll be the last one. So the weekly deal includes the pastel pearls. They're down to £5.63. And also, I can't zoom in on here because it's back to front and nothing is lining up with my viewfinder on my phone. So but the weave ribbon here, the open weave ribbon, I've used in soft succulent, but that is down to £5.64. And that roll, I don't know what it is about it. What have we got on here? 10 yards, 9 meters. It just goes on and on and on. Love it. So that is the weekly deals, so don't miss out on those. I will be placing my month end order on Friday because it's the 1st on Saturday. So if there's anything you want, bearing in mind weekly deals will end on the 28th, you need to get in there quick. Okie dokie. I feel so out of sorts today with my view. I'm going to stop talking about it now and try and just live with it. It's very confusing and my brain doesn't like confusion at the moment. Right, so I've got a basic white base layer. I've pulled in some of that fabulous craft cardstock. It's always got a bit of a curve on it, this cardstock, but once you sticking it down, it's fine. It's not going anywhere. Then I've got some scraps of white and I've pulled in just a bit of the Cajun Craze cardstock. So I thought this was a really, really fun colour combo. I was going to pull in Mango Melody with it. Let me grab a sheet and show you how lovely these two go together. Really great autumnal colours with the greens as well. They just work lovely together. But I decided against that. I decided just to keep it with these 3 colours, the 2 greens and the Cajun Craze. Right, let's start with a bit of stamping. That's also a layer. Let me give you these measurements because I know you like to have them. My craft is 3 by 4.5. And then I'm going to layer it on top. This will be just an 1/8 smaller. So it will be 2 7/8 by 4 3/8. Okay, so we've just got like a smidge of craft showing around the outside. And remember, the craft comes in 6 by 6 sheets. Comes in a little pack like this, and you get 20 sheets in there. So that is a really lovely addition to your colours because it just works with everything really. Okay, let's fold this and then start with our stamping. And I haven't caught up with anyone else's lives. Haven't even caught up with my leaders live yet, which I really need to. But busy day yesterday. I had to come back over and do a bit of work last night. By the time we sat down at gone 8, I was tired early again last night, so not sleeping the best, but there we go. It's just making me tired. Right, so we've got our base, put those 2 to one side. seem to be missing a piece of patterned paper in here. So I'm going to have to cut myself one, unless I've got a scrap in here that is wide enough. That will do nicely. Okay, so what else are we using? Oh, the other stamp set I'm going to be using, I've pulled another stamp set in. I don't like pulling different ones in, but this is a new one to me, and I bought it with the lovely the Very Best Trio punch, which is amazing. I'm going to be using that on my second card. And the Very Best Occasions has got a really good selection of, you've got some festive ones in here, you've got a birthday sentiment, but it's a really good one. It's a cling one, so you can see I've only pulled out one for today, and that's the first time I've used it. So I'm going to be using that as well. I think I made a marker just so you know where that is. This is from the July to December. It's on page 68. Stamp set on its own is 24. Punch on its own is 20. But you can get the bundle for $39.50, which is really good value. So lovely punch. I'm using it a lot at the moment, which you will have noticed if you're seeing some of my projects. We used it quite a bit for my stamper stack at the weekend as well. So right, let us just check comments. Right, I might just move. Shall I move it or shall I leave it? Let's leave it. We're definitely, my phone's on an angle in my holder, but I think we'll be fine. Right, so we're going to put those to one side. Got some scraps here to stamp with. Now, the Christmas season and the Sending Smiles, couldn't think what it was called then. They are both photopolymer, so you will need a foam mat. You can see I've got a bit of splatting to do today, because with a cling stamp set, can you see you've got this like spongy foam in the middle, which gives when you're stamping, but when you're stamping down with a photopolymer, they're kind of quite rigid and firm. So by having a little mat there, it just gives you that extra bit of squidge, for want of a better word. It just helps the stamp to go down further onto your paper to make sure that you get a good coverage of ink. So from the Sending Smiles, I've pulled in this flower because today, using the Christmas season, it's all very well for Christmas, but if you're using it for your non-festive projects, then you need, unless it's masculine, you don't need, but I feel the need to have something floral in there to break up the foliage. As much as I love my foliage, I always feel that it needs a bit of flower and a bit of colour, otherwise we've just kind of got greens and beiges going on. So we're going to start, let's do some flowers on here. Now this ink pad is very stiff because, as I said, it rarely comes off of my shelf. So it's very, look how new and pristine it is. But it's having an outing at the moment, and I feel, once I started making these cards for today, I think I'm going to be carrying on and keeping these colours on my desk and these stamps and creating some more projects for an upcoming class as well. So I'm just going to ink up with this little flower, and I'm going to stamp one and then stamp one next to it. And that there is one ink colour, but with two variations. So we have got the stamped off version, which we call second generation. Good morning, Judy. How are you doing? I am missing you. Don't know about you missing your crafting, but I'm missing your smiley, bubbly character. And yep, if you've not crafted for a bit, it's easy to miss it, isn't it? So Hoping that you do find a bit of time to craft though. How are you doing anyway? I hope you are doing well. It's lovely to have you join us this morning. I'm going to do a few more of these. So let's have, that was a bit inky. I could see that was going to be inky because I tapped way too hard and I could see bubbles on the back of my stamp. Let's do one there and one down there. So that should be enough to keep us going for flowers. And then for foliage, I've pulled in Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, two of my favourite greens. Yeah, it's all a bit strange on here this morning. I feel a bit out of sorts because Facebook and my phone are playing tricks with me. They like to do that. It likes to do that just to keep us on our toes. Right, the next one is from the Christmas season. I've got two different types of foliage from there. So let's just ink up a couple of these. Let's do that way. And that smaller one we'll do, oh, now I'm looking, I don't need soft succulent in that one. We'll stamp one as it's down, as I've inked it. Just give it a little clean. I need it in Evening Evergreen. And then one there. Can you see how the stamp is kind of graded to give you depth? So this isn't where I've not inked it properly. It's how the stamp has actually been designed, and it's been kind of etched to make it look almost 3D. Good morning, Belle. How are you? You don't use Cajun Craze much either, I know. Yeah, it's really nice second generation, isn't it? Very autumnal. Perfect for the moment, and yes, the leaves have started to drop already. I mean, they were dropping a little while back, weren't they, when we had all the hot weather, but they are definitely dropping. Right, I need another piece of scrap. I think I might have just stamped on the one I needed for my greeting, and my greeting of choice is sending you smiles for every moment of your special day. And I think this just works for lots of different occasions. I'm going to ink this in Cajun Craze and just stamp it down. I'm going to die cut this one out. How pretty is that? Such a lovely script. Lovely style of font. I think that's all the stamping. Let's just chop off of here what we need. I need, oh, not that one. I need two that are second generation. We'll put those to one side because we can use those later. Then I want this lovely large foliage. And then these two. I wonder if I've got one of those cut already. Let's have a look. Yes. I've got a little pot of goodness going on over here. Always got a pot of goodness. So I'm going to steal one out of there to save me cutting too. Although looking at it, I'm going to have to trim around that one. Let's do it now. We've got a very square edge going on there. There we go. And then can probably rescue that much. That seems rather a large piece to be die cutting, but so let's do this die cutting first. We can do all of these together, locate some dies. How handy are all these labels? I do remember using them so much. You know, I have kind of my favorites. What else do I need? Have my favorite dies that sort of, they're my go-tos, like the beautiful shapes and what's the other one? Beautiful shapes, stylish shapes. And I have a whole host of dies. And we don't use all of them all the time, do we? Sometimes we forget about ones and then we rediscover them again. So that's the beauty. So I'm going to use this lovely frame to cut out my greeting. So what have you all been up to? What did you get up to over the weekend? Because we had beautiful weather here in Gloucestershire. We had to open up, Saturday morning I had my Christmas stamper stack. We had to open up all the windows in here because it got so lovely and warm. There's no heating on here yet. Heating is on over in the house, but heating is not on in here yet. And I think when I came over this morning, first thing, it was about 19 degrees. So it's just kind of getting a little bit of a chill in the air in here. But mind you, I'm on 3/4 length sleeves, so be able to layer up before I need to really seriously think about putting it on. Okay, so we're all taped down. Put this very bendy top plate on and run this through. And then we'll just need to cut out some more flowers. So yeah, so Saturday I had my stamper stack and we were supposed to finish at 1, but of course we ran over a bit. I think it was near on 2 by the time we had completely finished. But it was lovely. It was lovely to have people here. Then we dashed out, went and did some food shopping because we were then going off racing to watch Jack, spend some time with them. So as soon as my class was over, we headed out. Then we got back, loaded up the camper and off we went. Stayed overnight and then stayed there all day on Sunday. So the weekend kind of whizzed by. How lovely is that frame? So pretty. Yeah, the weekend just whizzed by, as it always does, doesn't it? Right, let's check those back. Just cut another couple of these flowers. Oh, and then when we got back on Sunday evening, we remembered that the green garden bin was going out on Monday and we hadn't put anything in it. So we did a little bit of gardening before we lost the light. And then we had just a quiet evening. I think we lit the barbecue again on Sunday, yeah. Lit the barbecue and an early-ish night. Right, let's just pull that up. And then the last one. This die is so easy to line in because you've got 3... Are you all right there, Alfie? Having a good shake. You've got 3 petals that are close together this side and then 3 that are quite spaced out. So you can see that these are spaced out and these are close together. So it's pretty easy. She says, now I can't see it. It's pretty easy to line it in. But remember the trick with the dot, putting a dot on your stamp and a dot on your die, and then it will just help you locate it much faster. Okay. Right, that's the last one. So there we go. So we've got some flowers, some leaves. Put that die back so I don't lose it. What else do we need? can see things popping up on my phone, but I have to turn my head to read it. Oh, so confusing. Right, what do I need to do now? Oh, I remember. Okay, where did that come from? Okay, maybe I already had a piece in right next to me on my desk. Honestly, I am going crazy. Going crazy. Right, I think I'm going to pull in a big scrappy piece because I don't want to get any splats anywhere. And what I've done, in fact, I've still got a bit on here that hasn't dried out. Let's get rid of that and start again. So I've pulled out a little tiny A block. This is the smallest block we do, and I've got quite a few of these. They're very handy for those small stamps that we've got. And all I'm going to do is pull in soft suede, because to me, soft suede is kind of close-ish to our craft card. I could have used crumb cake, but I went with soft suede, and I just want to put a couple of, this is quite a new one, it's quite gloopy, just a little dot of refill on there. And I'm hoping a lot of you do use your refills other than just for re-inking your stamps. They're so handy. You can, you know, use them with rubbing alcohol to make a spritz. They're just, I mean, I wouldn't buy an ink pad without buying the ink refill to go with it. To be honest, I think that's definitely a route you should be going down. Ooh, my lid has come off. So I've got a very old aqua painter. It's in a very bad condition, but it's still doing the job for things like this. And I've got some water that was clean that I'm just dipping that in, because this aqua painter is very old and it doesn't seem to, the water, when you squeeze it, it doesn't come out to the brush. Let's just dry that out on a tissue. And I just want to add a little bit of water to just create like a watery solution. Alfie is scratching. Alfie, stop. Good boy. He's had an ear infection and we've been giving him medication, but he still keeps having a little scratch and a shake. So I'm hoping that it is working, that expensive medicine. Good morning, Margaret. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my bone folder and just tap gently to create, can you see the splats are ending up over here? Maybe if I move lower. I just want a few droplets. I think that's enough. She says adding more. Why do I always do that? Every time. So some of them are quite big splats, so that I was only really gently tapping on there. But yeah, it just adds, if you've got a splat stamp, then maybe use a splat stamp. But even if you've only got an old paintbrush, you can just add some colour to it and create some splats. You know, I love my white space, but I like to fill in. Let's get rid of that now. I like to fill in some of the white space. Sometimes it just looks too blank and kind of too washed out. So now that we've done that, we can add a little strip of DSP. We've got that lovely gold effect on the back of this one. And this is 1 inch depth, and I've just cut it slightly longer. I'm going to trim the end off. So I'm literally just going to add some Tombow down at the bottom. I'm going to pop this one on, and then we'll trim off the edge. Make sure that it's straight. So yeah, it's going to be full steam ahead here with everything is ready for the retreat. I say everything. there's still quite a few little bits to do, but the main things have been done. Have been done for a while. It's just all the finishing touches, so to speak. So what we're going to do with this layer is pop some Tombow on the back and add it to my craft. Belle, you can use an old toothbrush. That's a good idea. Mind you, I feel me flicking with an old toothbrush, it could be absolutely everywhere. I find when I hit the aqua painter like that with my bone folder, that it like I said, it kind of goes off in a direction for a long way, which is why I try to move everything out of the way before I do it. I mean, it's good that we can use our marker pens as well to create a splat, but it does ruin the nib on it. And you never can tell like this, you never can tell what kind of splat you're going to get. Obviously, when you're making this solution, you don't really want to add too much water because it's then going to sort of seep into your paper a bit like this one here and kind of bleed slightly. So you do have to be gentle with it. Right, now we've got this layer. I'm going to pull in some of this lovely open weave ribbon. So as a reminder, this is on the weekly deals. It's down to £5.60 something. Let's have a quick look at my marker. £5.64. Get just over 9 meters in here, and it just ties beautiful bows. So I want to wrap a piece around the bottom of my card, and I find that the easiest way to do that is to use glue dots. So let's pick up a couple, and I want it to be below, I want it to be where the paper is. So roughly about there. Definitely a bit sniffy at the moment as well. Is anybody else feeling that? It's this kind of like dampish weather. Right, let's just stick that. So I'm just wrapping it around and sticking it to the glue dot behind. Let's move those inks out of the way. I'm going to pull back in my base. And then my little piece of Cajun Craze, which is 3 5/8 by 1 3/4. This could be any kind of scrap piece really to go behind here. And I'm going to pop that down onto my base. Plastic glove, bristle facing the project, inky hands, hence the glove. Yes, I know, inky fingers. So yesterday, when I went to visit the grandchildren, I took a craft box. So looking at this card isn't quite in line. So those of you that have been in my studio, down at the other end of the studio, I've got like a little area for children, because obviously my number of grandchildren seem to be growing rapidly. I'm just going to trim that bottom edge off. And I bought one of those IKEA children's units that has the plastic drawers, you know, that pull in and out. And that is all of Vivi and Evsy's crafting stuff in there. So they know that if they come in here, they can go to their drawers and use anything from there. And they pretty much know that everything else is mine, and that, well, Vivi does. You know, she knows that that's hers and she can use anything. And if she wants to use anything else, that she needs to ask. So what I did yesterday was I pulled out an old card that I'd made. Actually, I'll pull it over. It's from the Light the Candles card kit. So it's this one here from the kits collection. And I had this card, it's got an inky splodge on it. But I thought that was easy enough for Vivi to do. So I cut a few kits of it before I went. Took the stamps, took some inks, and she copied my card, which was amazing. She just loves to sit and craft. Evsy, she had a go as well, but she'd lost concentration by about 10 minutes. And she was tired. She'd been at nursery all morning yesterday, so she was a bit tired, a bit too tired to craft. But where I was going with this was I took Night of Navy ink, and we all had really blue fingers from, I took some sponges as well and some masks and taught Vivi how to sponge. So yeah, we had very blue fingers, let's say, but it comes off in the wash. Couple of washes and away it goes, doesn't it? Right, this layer is going to go down. But yeah, she definitely loves to craft. Vivi, Evsy enjoys it, but like I say, she's not quite 2.5, so her concentration span is not as good, and she doesn't understand the concept of picking up a block the right way up so that she doesn't get ink all over her. But she loves it just as much. She has just as much fun. So we're just laying that down on our card base. I don't know what it is at the minute, but everything looks like it's on a wonk. Why is that? Tell me. Right, let's bring in all these little bits and pieces. So we want some, oh, I'm getting to the end. We're getting to the end of a sheet. Let's bring in, got some fluff on there. Some mini dimensionals. So yeah, we had a fun little crafty session. Every time I get there, Vivi said, did you bring some crafts, Nanny? And of course, I don't take crafts every time I go, because I'm there a few times a week. And she has her own craft stuff as well. So yesterday I thought I'd take her something to keep her occupied for a bit. Right, let's just pop that one right down in the middle. Such a nice greeting, isn't it? Is your ribbon on the wonk? Slightly. Slightly. It's hard, isn't it? Although I'm standing, and as bad as it is for my back, I can see much better what I'm doing when I'm standing. This table's quite low to be crafting at, to be stood. So, have yet to try the ink tapping. It looks good. Yeah, hello Joe, by the way. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, you just have to be careful if you're, when you're mixing your little ink solution with water, just have to be careful how much water you're adding, and then watch out everything that's around and about, because it could get splattered without realizing. Right, always got Tombow stuck on my bone folder. It never looks clean, mind you. I have several. Let's just give these a bit of life, and then we'll get them down on our card. Hello. Okay, give these flowers a bit of life as well. They'll soon flatten down a bit once we get them on. And of course, once they go through the postal system, they'll be flat as a pancake. Right, let's add. So what I like to do with foliage and things is literally add one dimensional at the top of them, and then a bit of Tombow at the base, just to anchor it in place, because one dimensional, it will still move about. Even though it's sticky, the base of it will move. So I'm going to pop one. Can't even see the card that I'm supposed to be doing. We'll have one up there. Then the darker, the Evening Evergreen, have one over this side. One the opposite side, just to balance it out a little. wondering where he'd gone. He's right under my feet again. And then we'll pop in some flowers. And we'll have one here. One over here. Just need to hold those for a minute just to let the tombow dry. And then I think, excuse me, definitely got a frog in the throat still. Don't know if it's ever gone away. I think maybe I have like an allergy. I sniff constantly all throughout the year, even in the summer. I still sniff, and I think it's probably some kind of allergy. But the frog in the throat seems to be becoming permanent as well. Okay, right, now just going to add a little bow, stretch my back for a moment. So I know some of you struggle with your bows, and I'm sorry to say that I find bow tying really easy. And I know for some of you it's not, but I'm going to show you really slowly how I do mine. And when I'm tying a bow, because anything of Stampin' Up that I use is precious to me, you know what it's like, the pattern paper, we don't want to cut into it. But I definitely don't want to waste ribbon, so I would never just cut off a piece and hope that it was the right length. So what I do is I take my thumb and forefinger and I pinch a loop. This end then wraps around the back, and I'm going to pinch it between my thumb and forefinger again, and I'm going to push it through that loop and try and grab it. Now this is quite a slippery ribbon, so sometimes it gets away. I'm going to hold onto that loop at the back and pull the tail, twist that. You can either put your finger in it and hold the front and pull the tail, and then you end up with a lovely bow. And usually what happens is, at this point, if you turn it around, it looks better. It seems to sit nicely. Let's get my ribbon scissors. Actually, that's a fib, because I do use these for paper as well, which is a definite no-no. But these are my sharp scissors, and I like to cut ribbon with these. And we'll just cut a little tail. Might just make that slightly smaller. Just going to hold the back of that loop, pull it gently, hold the front of that one, and then just twist it into place, and then we'll pop that down. And I always like to use a glue dot when I'm working with ribbon because it's so much quicker. Tombow will work, but it's going to take a while for the glue to dry to actually hold the ribbon in place. So a little glue dot works wonders. And we're just going to pop that one down over there like that. Might just trim that a smidge. Oh, I was just about to say we finished, but we have not, because we need to add the finishing touches. So I've pulled in the pastel pearls. Now, they are definitely not going to coordinate with my projects, but they're on the weekly deals this week. Aren't they beautiful? They are just beautiful. But what I'm going to do is pull in my trusty Sharpie. This is a permanent marker. And I'm just going to colour in. Oh, that one's on the move. That's going to be tricky to add colour to. Might have to abandon him. Let's use this little chappie next door. So I'm just colouring in. Need to let them dry for just a minute. Let's do this one as well. Go right around the edge. coloured in everyone around it as well. I'm just adding, oh, it's windy. The door is closing downstairs. Alfie's like, who's here? Who's come to see us? I'm just going to go and check. Let's hope that's not rain that's blowing in. It looks very cloudy and grey over there on the hills. Right, those should be dry enough. I'm just going to take my take your pick tool, push them off. Up. And pop them on. So it kind of feels like sacrilege colouring in, but this is quite supposed to be blue, I think. Let's have a look in the book, see what the actual colours are. Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, and it just says blue and pink. That's not actual colours, so they're not actually designed to coordinate, but how lovely are the Gorgeous Grape ones. You need to get yourself a pack of these. Look how many there are on there, 200. You're going to get a lot of use out of them. But I just think they look quite nice coloured in gold, especially with my project. So I hope you agree. I was going to have a little drink to help with that frog. So there we go. Hope you can see that because they've got very much of a 3D bow going on. I'm just guessing that this is in the middle of what you can see because it won't show it on my phone because it's like the camera has moved to a different place. So here's my original, pretty much the same, not as much splattage up here, but yeah, I was really pleased with the colours on this. I just thought it was really, really fitting for this time of year. Now, I meant to look before I came online. My next card, I was inspired by the sketch for the Global Design Project, and I will do a little blog post and I will tag them in it so you can go over and look at all the other entries. But it was a sketch challenge and I thought I'd have a go this time because I was only designing these yesterday morning before I went out. So I had something in mind of what I was doing, and then I do use Instagram a lot. I absolutely love Instagram. I just think it's a great visual place for inspiration and sharing what I do as well. So something popped up on there from the GDP challenge. So I thought I'll have a go this week. Let's enter into it. So I've got another basic white layer, 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. I'm going to fold it in half. Now, here are my 2 layers. So it's quite a basic sketch. Ellie, you've got me doing autumnal colours for your card club. I think it's a nice transition. I've gone from like being really bright. What did I do last week? Oh, we did plants and doors last week, didn't we? Which could kind of be autumnal-ish. So that was what we did last week. And then I've been using really bright colour, well, bright colours for me. And now look, how scary is this for me? A dark base layer here, and then a whole big piece of Cajun Craze, but I actually really like it. I really like it. So this is a really straightforward, really quick card. And I hope that I've adapted the sketch. When I put a post on here as well, I will show you the sketch so you can see what the layout is kind of all about. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is add on my Evening Evergreen layer, which is 3 3/4 by 5 3/8. So we're just going to stick that one straight down onto our base. and I cut it this size just so that we've got a nice amount of white showing for our base. Okay, so that's the first layer. Now this layer here, we are at 3 1/4 by 4 7/8. But what I thought would be fun to do, so on the original sketch, it was a rectangle, but I thought it's my card, it's a challenge. I'm allowed to do what I want as long as I kind of keep within the guidelines of the sketch. And this sketch led me on to other things as well, I will say. So this is I showed you this earlier, the best trio punch. We use this on our cards, some of our cards at the Stamper Stack at the weekend. And as I mentioned, it's on a bundle with the very best occasions. It's not very expensive as a bundle. What did I say? It's 30 something. £39.50. And basically it creates tags. Have I done anything with it? With you? I'm not sure if I have. I created this tag. This was a coffee and card project I did recently, but I created this tag using this punch. Honestly, it's not just about tags. It's about creating layers. But you've got 3 different parts of this punch, hence it being called a trio. And, oops, dropsies. I thought on this layer, I would just add a decorative corner to each one. So you have in here, if I hold it like this, you've got marker points here and here for you to guide in your piece of card, and you need to push it in until both corners kind of meet inside there. And when we're punching, we're not just punching on this side, we punch down on the middle. So the whole of the punch goes down in one way. So thank you, Renee, that's very kind, and thank you for joining us this morning. And then we're going to flip it. Okay, so we just punch that one. We're not going to turn it. We're going to flip it so that we create a mirror image like this. And then we're going to do the same on the opposite end so that we end up with this lovely, lovely shape. I'm just going to grab a scrap of cardstock. Let's use this piece of craft and I can show you. So what we can do also on here, we've got this straight edge, which is great for making tags. So that cuts off a notch, which you can see instantly will make, if we did it on the opposite side, makes a lovely tag. In fact, let's do it. Okay, so albeit a very wide and a very big tag. But then you have this little, for want of a better word, slot. What else would we call it? Ribbon slide, maybe. What we do with this one is we need to put this in and butt it up and make sure it's not on a crook, it's not on a wonk, it's in there firmly. And then you need to eyeball, there is a little marker here which points to the center of the punch. You need to kind of gauge, and that is very hard for me when I cannot get over the top of it, but we just punch it anyway. And it gives you a lovely little ribbon slide, which you could then pop your ribbon through, tie a bow, tie a knot, or just glue dot it, okay? So I love that about it. Let's move that back out of the way. But also, that's the way I used it last time. If I was to use that this way, oh, that wasn't a very good left-handed punch, we get a different edge. Oops. So can you see? We get the opposite way round. Okay, and it was Belle in my team that introduced me to this punch. And then I realised very soon after that I just had to have it. So I absolutely love it. It's £20 on its own, but I would highly recommend that you pick it up as a bundle, save 10% and get this stamp set as well, because you're going to find a lot of use out of it. So that's the very best trio. Right, what I want to do on this layer, I need to do a little bit more stamping. I've got one of those that I can use. Oh, I've got both of those actually. I just need to do a couple more leaves. A scrappy bit here. So we'll pull back in the soft succulent and just ink up this large foliage. And then we'll have another of the smaller one in the evergreen. And that's all I need for here. I have got to do a greeting. I wished I'd remembered to print off the sketch for you, but you'll see it when I pop it up on my blog. You will see it. So we need to just cut these out. Pull back in those plates. I do have a new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine winging its way to me, because I think we are at the decision that there is too much pressure between my rollers, which is really causing my plates to bend very quickly. Right, we need that one from the sending dies. We need that one and that one. This is another favourite one of mine. I was using that on a card I did with you recently with the cup of tea bundle. So I mean, we are definitely transitioning. I would say we are definitely autumn now, aren't we? So I think lots of projects with these autumn colours will go down well. And, you know, great for masculine cards as well. Good colour combo. I'm not sure that men really like flowers on their cards, would you agree? But it doesn't matter, you know, if you're just using foliage, the Cajun Craze would work lovely for some of the foliage. I mean, all leaves don't stay green, they fall off the tree in a rusty colour, don't they? That's, you know, because they've died, that's why they're that colour. So to add in colour, just bring in the kind of rusts and the beiges. Just cut these out. Pull off the pieces we don't want. Oops, that one tore. This one does tend to stick in a little. It's beautiful though, isn't it? So who's got the Christmas season? Belle, I'm sure you've got it. It's just such a good staple. Sticking that washi tape to one side. Oh, I need to cut one more flower. Have that Cajun Craze one. Lay that down. And I think I'll do another one just to show you what I've done as well. Let's pull in this scrap. So in the sending dies, you've got these lovely two kind of labels, and they're designed to work with these greetings. And this set is such a fabulous one, isn't it? If you've got it, you have seen me do a lot with this. I've well had my cost per use is very low on this one because I've used it a lot. But the greetings are just brilliant. You can kind of mix and match words in here as well, but they're kind of designed, the images are shown smaller, but designed to kind of line up and cut out those. But I just want a couple of these. I've got one done already. Let's just straighten that out. I'm going to tape it down because as soon as I turn around, it will slide off. I just cut these quickly. So I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram. If you don't, then please do head over and give me a follow, because I do try and post things on there. Also, you know, things about what I'm up to. Well, not so much what I'm up to. On my stories, I do share things that go on around here. On Sunday evening, actually, when we did a little bit of gardening, I pulled a few leeks, because I've still got some leeks in the garden. Still got a few runner beans coming as well. I've got tomatoes in the greenhouse. Where did that other flower go? I only had 2. Thought I had 3 for a minute. What else did I pick? I've still got some carrots underground as well. So, yeah. Kathy, hello, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I filled a trug of veggies. I dug some potatoes as well. But now I need to do something. So if you've got any really good leek recipes, let me know. I've got the Thermomix, which does help me out. So I was thinking of maybe some kind of leek, bacon, cheesy kind of pastry that I'd seen on Pinterest. We all love Pinterest, don't we? So, right, back to the card. Talking too much. Got another couple of these that I've cut already. And let's have a look. Focus on what I'm doing. I've pulled in the Christmas season, you've got this kind of, I think it's like snow. Would you say it was snow, or is it to go around the berries? Whatever it is, it's like a good splat one. So I've pulled that one out. Little dots. It's probably designed to go with something specifically in that set, and I just use it because, you know, I love a splat. So I'm going to be inking that one up, but I'm going to be inking it on craft white. This is a very old ink pad, and I'm going to scare you now. But look who made an appearance. And that was Vivi, bless her heart. She happened to be crafting over here, obviously quite a while ago. We haven't had the Christmas stamps out yet this year. And yeah, she decided she wanted a black snowman and then to put it in my white ink. But that's totally fine. It could do with another bit of ink in there. It's looking a bit dry in the middle. But this is a pigment ink. It's very slow drying, so we have to be quite steady with it when we're using it. Let's make some room. Right, let's lay this down ready. Now, this isn't my usual style of popping layers down on my cards, but the sketch has it at a wonk like this. Now, I am not a fan. My OCD doesn't really say that that's okay, but I'm going to go with it because it's a sketch and I want to take part in this challenge. So we're going to lay this down with glue onto this layer. It's a very simple card, this, and you can elaborate. That's what I love about sketches like this. It's quite a simple one for me, but you can elaborate. And I have done that. I've got another card to show you. I've done like a stepped up version. So let's give everything some life. Give it all a bit of life. Feel like it's being loved. And not just put straight down on. Put the lid back on. Yeah, so I need to do some. I've got a load of tomatoes, although tonight I'm going to make some passata with the tomatoes. We might have enchiladas for dinner, or maybe meatballs. Not sure yet. Of course, the classic thing to do with the leeks would be to make leek and potato soup, but Jay's not a fan of soup, so I want to make something that we're both going to eat. So yeah, I need to get my thinking cap on now that I've pulled them. Right, need to do a little bit more stamping before we go any further. Let's just flatten these out. Ellie, you've got Christmas season and you used it a lot last year. Yeah, and I think that's the great thing. So, you know, pull out what you've got from last year. I like to do a little bit of a mixture, you know, bring in some of the old, but also use something new with it as well. So let's stamp on these. Bring in my spongy mat because we're going to be using the photopolymer. So one of the greetings in the Sending Smiles is sunshine to brighten your day, and it's kind of designed to use the sending word in French. So sending, smiles across the miles, sending love and big hugs. Of course you don't have to, but on this one I wanted to use the words to brighten your day. I'm going to ink it in evergreen. Oh, that's hard seeing. May not be in the middle. That will be okay. And then also I pulled in the birthday wishes. Look how wonky that is. Let's take that off. Let it sit. And then re-pick it up. That's better. That's much straighter. We'll have that in the evening evergreen as well. Try and get that one straight. Oh, that was very wonky. Let's have another go. Let's just straighten that out a bit, because that will help. If you've got a bendy piece that you're stamping on, it won't help. And it doesn't help that I can't really see where I'm stamping because my phone is bang in the way of where my head would want to be. I won't get rid of that because I can fussy cut around those and reuse them if I need to. So we've got birthday wishes to brighten your day. I'm going to snip that up. Of course you can use them in this frame, but I didn't want the frame. I just wanted to use this width of paper. So we'll have your day and then to brighten. So we've split that into 3 separate pieces. Hello Kim, how are you? Good evening to you. You like the colours for this card? Yeah, I think as well we could team soft suede with it and it would look as good maybe for some of the foliage. So what I want to do on this one, so the sketch was an outside piece with this wonky piece in the middle, and then it said greeting here, and it had some sequins here and here. And I kind of just adapted that. So I'm switching out my sequins for foliage. Okay. So now do I want to do my next bit of stamping first? I'm going to guesstimate. I'm going to guesstimate where I want to put my splodges. So let's bring in, I am gently tapping on this white ink because it does pick up a lot. And I'm going to pop one up here. That was a bit wet, that bit there. One down there. I've missed a bit, but I'm not worried about that. And then we'll have maybe one down here. did maybe I needed to, this could be an epic fail. Going over the top of something that's there. Sorry, but I've got a sniff. Got to have a little sniffle. But that could be partly covered up anyway. Right, so we're going to add, as always, a teeny weeny bit of glue to the stem. Pull off the backing. And then we're going to have these two. Now this is where I find it tricky because I want my card to be straight, but we're working on a piece that's at an angle and it's kind of deceiving to the eye. So I'm going to pop one up here. Hello Alfie dog, where have you been? Have you been on an adventure? Never know what you'll see out in the garden here. And then we'll have one down here like this. And then our greeting, I'm going to pop dimensionals behind. Might cut into this one that's finished, but use these strips. They'll be quite handy to work with these long pieces. Never throw this edge piece away. It is one of the handiest pieces of a dimensional sheet. Let's just do two more. There. It works just as well as the actual dimensionals themselves. Right, so we'll start with birthday wishes. Now this is where it gets my eye because I don't know whether to have them at an angle or to have them straight. On my original, they're straight. But I'm not sure whether they should be at an angle. Maybe I'll do them at an angle and then we can compare. Maybe we'll do that. So we'll have, so they're kind of following the same angle as this Cajun Craze layer. So birthday wishes to brighten your day. In a little bit. I want it to hang over the end. And then we'll pop our flowers in. Let's colour our pearls first so that they dry. Might be able to finish off that one, even though it's trying to run away from me. So Sharpies come in all different sorts of colours. So like when you buy the pearls, just scraping that bit off of that one. When you buy like our standard pearls, you can colour them with colours, but also our Stampin' Blends marker pens, you can colour them with those as well. So I wouldn't recommend, let me just grab one. Let's use a really bright colour. Polished pink. I wouldn't maybe recommend using the brush tip because it might damage them. Actually, this might not colour very well because it's not very pigmented. There you go, very hot pink pearl. Okay, let's get these flowers down. I'm going to put ink on the back of these because I'm not as Tombow. I'm not exactly sure where I want them because I want to hide that foliage stem in the middle. They look a bit close. Oop. I think you need to go there. She says. Need to come down a bit maybe. It's looking a bit top heavy. That will do. And then we'll just pop these on. Oh, I've missed half of that one. Get back on. Let's just colour that side of it. Take that one first. I just love the kind of brushed metal effect that we get when we use the Sharpie. And that is it. To me, it is not finished. It's definitely not finished. There are not enough layers on there by any means. But what do you think? It's a really sweet, simple card. And it's following the sketch. So let's bring in my original. The dots are better here. I could have done them a bit further away. So they're both straight, but these greetings are in line with my card, and these greetings are in line with the Cajun Craze layer. What do you think? Is it too plain for you? Are there enough layers for you? There's definitely not enough layers for me, but that's what I love about a sketch. Let me show you what I did with it to step it up. So I took the same elements, the same kind of design, same pieces, but I added in, one of those, don't know where that was, but we'll just put it there. Or was it up there? We'll just leave it there. I put one of those lovely labels from the seasonal labels. I was going to say Christmas season. I put one of those behind. I've added in a bit more foliage, but then I also added in some of that Christmas paper as well. I did get a little splodge of ink there. You could see that these were kind of an afterthought. But yeah, so that was like my stepped up version. I've done more with this, but I'm not going to share them just right now. So what do we think? Do we think the greeting should be in line with the card? Or do we think it should be on a wonk with the layer? I'm not sure. I'm not sure which I prefer. My phone is moving. Definitely moving in its stand. I've just twizzled it over. That's better. Wasn't square. So, do you like the simplicity of it? Yeah, and that, like I've said, that's a great thing about a sketch. You can start with something and then kind of turn it into sort of your style. But I was so pleased with how these turned out. I think they're just really pretty. Really kind of pretty, but leafy, flowery. But think about how you could adapt these to make them work for you. So this, if I was doing a man card, I probably would pull off the flowers and just add in some kind of foliage with maybe this stamped off. And I probably would change that bow for a knot, just a simple knot. Where's my ribbon? Because that can always work, just a really loose knot. So rather than having that bow, just pull yourself, like make a really loose knot like that and stick that on instead of a bow, and it just kind of takes the feminine side away from it. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with how these turned out. Just love the colours. Let's have a quick look back. So, Kathy, you like the greeting straight with the card, which would be that one. You like the greeting in line, Annette. Belle, you hadn't spotted the dotted stamp on that set. So, yeah, isn't it funny how we miss things? We really miss things, don't we? But you love the colour combo. So it's like on the Sending Smiles set. I don't even know. I may have inked that Stamp Up once or twice, but that's really good. That would work equally as good for creating a background. But think about this, which is the flower center for this little flower that I've used. That would make great kind of spottage and dottage and splattage, whatever word you like to use, for the backgrounds on your cards. And it is, you know, like I love white space, but it just adds a little something by adding in. And on here, obviously, I didn't use the white. I just used the Cajun Craze ink to create that background. So, yeah, I was super pleased, and everything is staying on my desk. As I've said, I'm going to be creating some more things with these and maybe turning this into a class, because I just think the colours are very, very fitting for right at the moment, this time of the year. Right, I was going to show you something. Oh, about bringing the old with the new. So this is one of the cards that we did at my Stamper Stack at the weekend, and this is a perfect example of bringing in the old with the new. So we've got the new candy canes, but the old Peaceful Deer set that is in the annual catalogue. So I've just done a mixture of the two stamp sets. This is in the candy canes as well, so is this. And here's that tag. Can you see it's quite a lot of white under there, so it's tricky to see, but I created a tag using the Best Trio punch, and then I embossed it with the Wintry embossing folder. I think I used this with you the other day. They come as a pair, so you've got the lovely fir tree, the Christmas pines. So yeah, so it's good to, you know, have something new to play with, but also to bring in a bit of the old. Right, what is the time? 11 o'clock. I think we are done anyway. So thank you so much for joining me. Judy, you like the straight with the card too? Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? We're all going to like things differently. And I mean, even just having that at that angle makes me slightly anxious, but I kind of like it. I will put up a picture of the GDP challenge. Have a go yourselves. Anybody can enter. It's really, it just gets you going with something and makes you move, makes your ideas move on to something else. So it's always good to have something to start with. So, but thank you so much for joining me. Just scroll comments. Doesn't want to scroll on me as usual. Can't get it to scroll. Oh, technology. Me and technology, we just definitely aren't friends. It's not fair. I wish my brain would work its way around it all. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go and grab a coffee, clean up these stamps, and then maybe get planning for something else to do with these. So don't forget about those weekly deals. Got the lovely ribbon and the pastel pearls, which can be so much more than just the colours that you see them as. Then there's some other great things on there as well, so do have a look. I'm not sure if it's the week of the craft cardstock or whether that was last week, but it was on the weekly deal, I'm sure, unless I'm dreaming that. So yeah, please have a lovely week. Enjoy this weather that we're having at the moment. It's kind of bright at the moment, not too damp, so let's hope it stays that way. And please take care on your travels, and I will be back with you all very, very soon. So bye for now.